Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 54th episode of The Ruins of Warsaw. I'm Alexandra, and I'm the storyteller.
Hi, I'm Janina. I'm playing yet.
Off to a good start.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm zoned out a bit. I'm Dolores and I'm playing Janina Kunbruha.
And I'm Bea, playing Faye of Clan Malkavian. No. I'm Faye, playing Beatrice of Wozniak of Clan Malkavian.
I see you're both really getting into character.
Absolutely.
I'm so sorry.
I was going to, but chaos.
Chaos. And as always, we have partners taking care of tech and acting as Keeper of the Elysium in the chat. And thank you all so much for joining us for another episode in the story of Bea and Janina. We will start, as always, with a quickish recap of what happened last time. We started with our two kindreds being not on the best of terms. Janina maybe less so, but Bea still angry at her sister for all the dangerous things she got up to and dragged her into. And they spent quite a lot of the night separately, Bea specifically avoiding Janina, although they had some brief interactions. But first, Janina went to feed, which ended with her losing control and then telling herself the man she drained looked kind of thin and weak and probably didn't have a good life anyway, so maybe it was better. And not really feeling much remorse, she got back to Hotel Bristol. On her way back, she encountered two of the anarchs who are still left, Isidore and Zoya, who were leaving to try to kill Sobat Asamite, Ines. But Janina was surprised because she was supposed to go with them, but she was told by Isidore that he didn't want to risk her, and by Zoya who seemed much less inclined to go along with it, but she still said that she didn't want to do this to Janina. And Janina didn't insist, maybe remembering her promise to her various close ones, and went back into the hotel. She spent some lovely time with her lover Nastia, who expressed concern for Janina's obliviousness to what goes on around her in kindred society. But they didn't just talk, they had some very good time together. After which, Janina went to look for Dominic. She first spoke to Diana, Sheriff's child at Riador, who was practicing saber, and told her she was worried about Dominic and asked Janina to tell her what was her read on Dominic, what state he was in, what was going on with him. After which, Janina spoke to Dominic, who seemed very obsessed with his face beginning to change into his Nosferatu form in very slight ways so far, and seemed sad and worried about his lover, the sheriff, and also worried about Diana, who focused on practicing fighting and seemed a bit unstable, possibly capable of doing something reckless. In the meantime, Bea spent some time at the Elysium catching up with few people and was eventually summoned to speak to the Venture Primogen, who, in a fairly to-the-point conversation, thanked her for her contribution, her proposition of how her promise to Zimishi, Lady Leocadia, could be used for Camarilla's benefits. Venture Primogen then told her that in light of this information, the plans have been slightly changed, and Bea was to now use this promise she made to get closer to the Sabbat, gain some of their trust, and observe until a situation where this information can be used to Camarilla's benefit or something else of value presents itself. He also suggested Bea might want to speak to the captive, Arek, whom she promised to free to get him back to Lady Leocadia, to gain his trust, so that if there comes a time when Camarilla wants to stage the situation where Bea pretends to free him, he will believe her and will cooperate. During the conversation, Bea could also see that while Ventriclimogen was putting on a good face, he was frustrated with something and not quite happy with something to do with this situation. After which Bea inquired about Mr. Cernovsky, who could get her to Arek, and she didn't get to speak to him, but his child Joachim promised to convey the message that Bea is looking for him. After which Bea set out from Hotel Bristol to speak to her sire, Felicia, at their haven. And she got there without much issue, but the haven was empty. Bea found only a collection of poems, threnodies, especially a few lines that it seems Felicia has been reading over and over. And Bea waited. Janina, on her way to join Bea there, encountered Roman, who was very angry about what happened and pretty much done with our two kindred. But he did tell Janina that he's pretty sure that Sabbath Stronghold is right now in St. Augustine's church, and told her to avoid that place. Janina met with Bea at the haven, and they spent some time together talking and reconciling mostly. And they waited for Felicia to return, but she didn't until the sunrise. And just with disturbing vision of Felicia walking into a place that lights up with darkness, or maybe light, or maybe darkness, Bea and Janina fell asleep without Felicia in their haven. And we will pick up from here. Janina, you were the first one to wake up. You were sitting on the floor in Bea's and Felicia's bedroom. It is dark now in her room, but you know and see Bea is sleeping, also sitting against the wall next to you, just as you both sat down in the morning.
Okay, I will probably just sit for a moment and look around, trying to see the haven and try to notice any changes that Felicia made, because I didn't pay much attention before we went to sleep.
So you, on a general look around, you'll find that there are a few various objects that Felicia brought there. Some tablecloths, there's a vase for flowers, although there are no flowers right now. There is a tea set there again, as you used to have back in your old haven. And there is a book that Bea has shown you as well, the book of poetry.
I will probably pick up the book and try to spend my time reading,
So you read the poems, and they are written in a language. Well, it's understandable, but it's a bit archaic language at times. You don't know what some of the words mean, maybe. But these are poems written by the poet for his young daughter who died, lamenting her passing.
Well, I'm spending the time waiting for Bea to wake up by rereading the poems.
Bea, you wake up. You're sitting on the floor in a bedroom.
I feel off, a bit sore, and not a little out of sorts, but I can't quite place why. Can I hear sounds or?
You can hear some wind outside. You
probably hear me.
Yeah, I mean, you might hear like the pages turning.
Okay.
In another room.
In which case, I get to my feet, brush myself down, wonder why I'm not in my night clothes, shrug, and then go through to the other room to see who it is.
Janina, you hear Bea start moving around quicker than you would normally expect her to.
Okay, I will close the book and I will get up and go towards Bea.
So you probably meet in the doorway as Bea is about to leave and join you.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Are you alright?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. I need to check my journal. I just wanted to see who was around.
Felicia's not here. We're worried about her. Because she didn't came back.
That'll explain it, I suppose.
Yes, I'm sure you...
Sorry.
You have more details in your journal. If you want to catch up.
With a sigh, I think I'll head through to one of the seats and sit down and start going through the last couple of pages. The last two notes I have are about needing to go to the hotel to speak to Mr. Stanovsky, task, which is nice and vague. And Felicia, is she safe? Where is she? And then my visions from before. Oh, great.
We should come up with a plan. Do you have any? Where to look for her, or what to do?
I don't know. And I lean up and I start kind of massaging my temples in frustration. And I think partially intentionally, I activate Eyes of Chaos as I'm just wondering where she is.
Perception and occult, difficulty 8.
I have 2 successes.
Okay. So you start massaging your temples, you close your eyes briefly, and you see the darkness as your eyes close. And then you see the shadows moving, and you see Felicia among them, and they are wrapping themselves around her. And you see them draining her light and her love, but the light in her eyes is not going out, it is going, and it's intense. And that's what you get on 2 successes.
She's surrounded by or wrapped in the darkness. It's trying to suck the life and the love out of her.
No, not the life, the light. Light.
I think I accidentally said that wrong. So
I'm just making sure you heard it correctly.
Thank you.
Okay. Does it mean anything to you?
I don't know. The darkness is. I know it's bad. It feels bad.
Well, it does sound bad, but maybe it's not. I mean, do you have a feeling that she's in danger?
I mean, I don't have a feeling that she's safe. I don't. I don't. I don't
just
know.
wish we had a starting point. But if at least the Malkavian Primogen was around, I'm sure they would help.
But they're not.
Yes.
And there's bitterness in my voice as I say that.
Do you want to go back to the hotel and try to ask someone for more help? But
suppose.
I don't know what else we can tell them.
I don't know what else to tell them either. Will they believe me?
Of course they will believe you. Sure, I believe you.
No offense, Janina, you're kind of weird. I say that with love in my heart.
I know, but I'm sure you proved yourself enough to a lot of people.
I'm not so convinced,
but I'm just, even if we tell them what you saw, like, what can anyone make of it? Unless, I don't know, they have some better gifts than you do and can make more out of your feelings.
Okay. And what I do is I pull a blank page out of my journal, and I basically write down again the visions that I've had with relation to Felicia, what I saw when I engaged with the book, just everything that's to do with the poetry book, and then I slip it inside the page. And I'll then put the book just sort of tie it next to my journal.
I probably give you the book because I was reading it.
Oh yes, of course, sorry.
Of course, yeah. So you have it with your journal now.
In the hopes that it'll prompt something if I do forget the details again.
Okay, well, in that case, I guess we should go back to the hotel and maybe try find help there. Okay, let's go then. Do you need to feed?
I should probably top up. I'm not desperate, but topping up would probably be sensible. What about yourself?
I'm fine. And I give her.
Well done. I don't intentionally mean to look surprised, but I definitely am slightly surprised.
That is fair.
Okay, then do you want to get ready or? No,
I'll just go and grab my things. I think I may be going freshen up slightly in the bathroom first, because, I slept against a wall. It's not the worst I could have done, but I'm still not happy with being scruffy.
So you go to freshen up. And how are you feeling, Bea? What's running through your head?
Worried, anxious, confused. I don't know who to go to. And as much as Janina says that people will believe me, there's this nagging doubt in my stomach. I don't remember why I think this, but I just feel like no one's going to take me seriously.
And who's that worry? You're getting ready. And Janina, you wait for Bea. Not very long, but what are you up to? What are you thinking about?
I probably go to the window and I look outside while I wait for her. And there is a bit of worry for Felicia. Mainly because she's important to Bea and I don't want to cause for Bea to be in distress. So I want to make sure that Felicia is okay, but there's also like anxiety because there is not much to go on. And I don't know if anyone will even help us or like how to approach anyone with this when we have barely nothing to go on.
Visions.
But I hope that someone will help us, or at least have some explanations for us that could point us to the right direction.
Maybe
so that's probably So that's probably what I'm thinking about.
When you're looking at the street and you are not in a particularly often frequented part of town, in more residential space, so it's mostly empty. You see two people walk past, and then it is quiet. It's very cloudy outside. It's a bit dark. It's not snowing, but there is still snow in the streets from what has fallen earlier. And soon you're ready to go, and you set out from your haven. And where do you want to head for feeding?
I guess roughly in the direction of Elysium without actually being at Elysium.
Do you want to just try to spot someone in the street, or do you want to go towards your herd, which is on the way?
Yeah, I think I default to looking for people first.
Okay.
Just because I'm not quite in the right headspace to remember about it right now.
Fair. That's absolutely fair. Then roll your wits and alertness with difficulty 7.
Oh my god, I have 3 successes. I'm sorry. That's very good for me.
That's easy enough. You are walking towards Hotel Bristol. You start crossing the Poniatowski Bridge, and it is quite empty. There are a few people going back and forth, and at some point you do see someone starting to head down one of the staircases. It is a man looking maybe in his 30s. He's smoking a cigarette. It's not walking very fast, but he hurries a little bit and then slips on some of the ice on the step and catches the handle and then walks slowly and more carefully down and in the staircase, and you see down the bridge there shouldn't be many people, so you can follow him.
Okay. I'll briefly lean into Janina and just sort of ask her to keep an eye out, and I'll be back in a moment.
I nod and I look around.
And I'll drop into a shady corner if I can.
No problem. Plenty of shade on that staircase.
In which case, if I can activate obfuscate.
Obfuscate. No problem at all. I would only ask to roll your dex and stealth because
so I don't slip on the ice.
So you don't slip on the ice because it is winter and people are a little bit bundled up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So roll that with difficulty 7.
So is that dex and stealth?
Wait. Actually, no. Scratch that completely.
No
it's
worries.
gonna be wit and stealth.
Okay. Grand. Dex and stealth. My difficulty is 6.
7.
I have 1 success.
That is enough. You also slip a little bit, but then you get a handle of how to walk, and
it's fine. No one
actually,
saw it.
as the man kind of slips again, you get close to him, and you can use the moment when he's struggling to keep his balance to actually get at his neck, and you bite in. How much blood do you have right now?
I have 7.
That's all right. So how much do you take?
I would take 2.
All right then. You are in control. You're not particularly hungry. The man falls down.
I get the feeling of the momentum,
a little bit,
kind of.
but then it's stable there. Do you just retreat?
Yes. I think there is a part of me that slightly sort of tucks his scarf a bit more over his neck, maybe folds his jacket slightly, but then pretty quickly heads back up the stairs.
Janina, you're just waiting, or do you want to do anything?
No, I'm keeping an eye, looking if there's no one, and then keep my eyes on the man as well.
The man starts moving in a moment as Bea joins you. You hear his groan as he's coming to. And you're back together on the bridge.
Well, were you graceful?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The face that Bea is pulling is telling you anything but that.
I give her a smile. And we are walking.
And you continue to walk towards the hotel. You get there easily enough. As you enter the lobby, you see Mariusz, the ghoul who's usually there, is there at the reception currently, and there are people in the cafe. Someone is playing piano, quite upbeat melody. No one is dancing, but there are various people eating and drinking. There's this buzz of conversation mixing with the sound of piano. Where are you headed once you get to the hotel?
I look at Bea. Are we going to the Elysium?
I guess.
Or do you want maybe? Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe Anthony would be a good starting point. I'm sure he would believe you.
Maybe. And as I'm thinking about it, I just have this feeling of guilt and anger at myself and shame sort of in my gut, and I feel hesitant to speak to him. I don't know why.
Okay, well, so Elysium it is.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go.
And as we're walking up, I'm sort of flicking through my journal, trying to work out where this feeling has come from.
And then you fall on the stairs.
And then I fall on the stairs. Maybe.
Let's assume you don't. You're probably accustomed to walking and flicking
Walking
through
and
your
reading.
journal.
Walking and reading is something I've got a specialty in at this point.
Absolutely. And you head upstairs towards the Elysium. And as you enter, there are a few people around. It's not as busy as it can be quite at the moment. You see Mikhail isn't there. Stefania is sitting in his usual place. And there's Anna Maria and Nina at her sides. You see Rahela there with Eliza. You see Nastya sitting in a corner with a book. And you see Joachim and Magdalena and Konrad, the toreador, who spends a lot of time with them, sitting nearby. And you also see Mr. Cernovsky, who is currently speaking to someone who you think is Roman.
Okay. There's a vague flickering of guilt in my chest when I see Roman, but I don't know why again. And it's just making me more uncomfortable.
When I notice Nastya, if she notice me, then I will wave at her.
She notices you and gives you a smile.
Then I look at Bea. So, who is gonna be the lucky one?
I don't know. Have I had a falling out with Roman?
Oh, well, we both did. But it's mainly my fault. It's not like a falling out. I will explain later when we are alone. It's okay.
Okay.
He's just mad because he cares about us. As usual.
And I start flicking hurriedly, now looking for things about Roman since he's here. And I don't think I've written anything down about it, so I have nothing.
Then you have nothing.
I have nothing.
You're standing
I'm just confused.
there together, the two of you.
I will briefly glance in Nastya's direction and at Janina and just go, are you going to make her wait?
Oh, well, I will go with her to her in a moment. Do you still have the book?
Yes.
Maybe Joachim could help us?
Maybe.
I mean,
I suppose.
I think you're friends.
I look at her with an expression of, I don't know!
Let's see if he has time for us.
I'll glance in his direction and see
Me
if he's
too.
looking up.
He gives you a charming smile and waves.
I'll wave back at him. I guess I'll head in his direction then.
You would have also seen Rahela smile at you and wave earlier.
I definitely waved at her.
But you come up to Joachim, who says something to Magdalena and Konrad, and comes up to you as well, meeting you halfway.
Good evening.
Good evening, Beatrice and Janina.
Hi.
It's good to see you. I was wondering if I could ask for your help on a matter.
Is it going to leave me scarred for the rest of my years?
I hope not.
That would be the first. Sure. What can I help you with?
Could we talk outside?
He kind of glances around the room, and you see him looking a bit longer through his sire, Mr. Cernovsky, who doesn't see him engage in conversation. And then Joachim just says, all right.
We don't need to go far.
No, it's okay. And he starts heading outside.
Okay. And I'll smile at Janina and then turn and follow after him.
And I follow after them as well.
Okay, you're coming too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
This is my idea.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
So, yeah, that will be happening. And you step outside and maybe not necessarily go very far.
No.
But you are at a distance from the Elysium now, just in the corridor.
I'm afraid I've had some... My sire has gone missing. And I'm getting bad feelings about it, but it's not really enough to go on. I was wondering if you'd be able to help me with figuring out where she might have gone to, or at least having a look at something, just to see if you can make anything of it.
I can have a look. I am sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Must admit I'm not very familiar with your sire. I'm not sure what I can do to help.
I don't know. I have this, and I pull out the book of poetry. The last thing I got regarding her, outside of vague omens, was I saw her obsessing over this. I was wondering if you could pick up anything more from it that I might have missed. And I'll open it to the page that she was on.
Right. He kind of takes a look. Oh, I remember reading that.
I will have left in my notes. I don't take them out, so.
He glances at them. Raises his eyebrows slightly. Looks at the book, moves his hand over the page. Closes his eyes for a moment. Let's see, actually. Okay. So that's that. So he spends a little bit of time doing that. And then opens his eyes.
I've sort of glanced away during it because I don't feel the need to obsessively watch him.
She was definitely reading it quite obsessively.
Yeah.
She seemed to be saying something to herself, but I couldn't quite make out the words.
Okay.
Short things. Maybe calling somebody, I'm not sure. She flicked through all the pages, but kept coming back to this verses specifically. Kind of looks at them, raises his eyebrows again. Looks at your notes. I'm sorry, it all looks rather ominous.
Yeah. It does. Oh well. Well, thank you for taking a look anyway.
I'm afraid I don't know how to find her.
That's fair. I don't really either, so I guess I'll just have to raise it with someone in charge, I guess.
I can try to speak to my sire.
And as I've looked at my journal earlier, I do sort of remember that I meant to speak to him anyway. Is that something that you think you could help with?
Perhaps he knows much more about, well, various things than I do. He's definitely, I suppose, someone partially in charge now.
I guess. I mean, if you could, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
I'll ask him. He
Can I give him
wanted
a
to
smile?
speak with you anyway.
Oh,
Seemed to know what he wanted to talk about. I
Right.
didn't inquire.
yes, I say, remembering reading the word task and then slightly panicking because I don't really remember what the task is, so... thank you, that's good. I'll try and catch him when he has a moment then. But thank you again. And I give him
I
a
hope
genuine
you'll
smile.
find her.
Thank you, so do I. I've kept you away long enough, so apologies for that.
Yes, I should get back to Magdalena. What's perception and empathy?
Okay. Perception and difficulty 6?
Difficulty 6, yes. You can as well, Janina, if you'd like.
I probably don't pay as much attention to him. Like
Okay.
I pay more attention to Bea. So
Well, I had 2 successes and 2 1s, so absolutely nothing.
So you don't really see much more than that. He just starts heading back towards the Elysium.
I think I'm too concerned with Felicia and worrying about not remembering things, and I'm now just standing in the hallway and going through my journal trying to remember what this task is.
Janina, you see Bea starting to flick through the journal.
what are you looking for?
Why I'm talking to Mr. Sanovsky. It's fine, I'll figure it out.
Well, maybe he will be able to help us more. He seems capable, and you already did some work for him before. Maybe he'll do it.
Well, hopefully. And thank you for thinking of that.
Of course,
It's hard in the moment.
I understand you must be so distressed. You worry about her. I get that.
I mean, it's partially that. I don't know, I walk into the room and I don't know what people do. If that makes sense. I know feelings I have about them, but
It's okay. You can always ask me when you don't have time to look in your journal. If I know, I'll tell you. I'll be your walking journal.
Oh. As long as you don't wander off, then.
I'm trying not to.
And for that, I'm relieved.
Okay, so what now?
I should head through, because I need to speak to Mr. Sanovsky, and I believe you should stop ignoring a certain someone.
Okay, I'm going to go chat with Nastya, and we'll meet here in, let's say, an hour, unless you will be busy. Well,
I'll try to give you a heads up if I'm going anywhere.
Okay. Okay, and if you get any news about Felicia, please let me know straight away.
I'll do so.
Let's get to our... Well, I wanted to say task, but Nastya's not task. That's a hobby.
Not a task. Yes. And you head back towards the Elysium.
And I go straight to Nastya.
You go straight to Nastya. Bea, you see that Mr. Sarnowski finished talking to Roman. Roman is now just wandering about, and he then disappears towards the offices on the other side of the Elysium. And Mr. Sarnowski looks straight to you.
As I was walking through, I have found some notes about my task, and I'm slightly trying to subtly close the book so that Janina isn't going to oversee anything over my shoulder.
I'm probably not looking.
Okay, that's fair.
I think I went straight to Nastya, so
that's fair.
And if he's sort of looking at me with intent, then I'll start walking towards him.
Nods his head at you. Miss Wozniak, good evening.
Good evening, sir. I was hoping to talk to you.
Of course. Please follow me.
Thank you. And again, I will follow after him. Now that Janina's not next to me, I will have the book more open, and I will be glancing through it as we walk.
And he starts leading you out of the Elysium and along the corridor. And as you are outside the Elysium, you walked some distance. He says, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is concerning your task to do with our prisoner.
Yes, sir.
I will take you to him. He's in the same location.
Thank you, sir. As we're walking, as I'm sort of skimming through the notes that I've made, I'll ask him, how conscious is he right now?
He's staked. He can be unstaked if you consider it safe, but I would advise against it.
No, that's fine. I was more wondering how much awareness he would have of the room around him.
Some of the basic one, I expect.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Some of the basic one, I expect.
Okay.
Do you have a set of lockpicks?
I do.
I suggest you enter that way.
That was what I was leading up to.
Just nods his head and gives you a smile at that. Appreciative. And yet somewhat unnerving.
Yes, I am definitely I think I've been unsettled since I kind of clapped eyes on him, but I don't know why.
And he's walking at very confident pace and step, leading you down the stairs towards the basements. But before you get to the door where the Arik will be, but once you are out of the main hotel areas, he will turn to you and say, I heard you had an interesting adventure recently.
I think there's a brief moment where my face is blank because I can't recall what he's referring to. So I think there's this moment where there's not much recognition in what he's talking about. Given I presume he's quite a perceptive man, I think he will likely pick up on that.
You see him observing you carefully as he asks that question.
Yeah. In what capacity are we referring to as interesting, sir?
Well, some might say an interesting occurrence, improbable one. For me, it's professional curiosity.
I think at this point, because I have no idea what he's referring to, I will spend a point of willpower to recall it.
Feel free to do that.
Oh god, and now I have that memory back in my head and I'm regretting every moment that's led to it. I'm going to try and keep the horrified realization off my face as best I can.
Roll your self-control and subterfuge.
Roll off. Self-control and subterfuge. Difficulty 6 if it's
6, yes.
Okay. That's ones, so I'll get rid of that. That's 4 successes. 4 successes.
You keep a decent composure.
What sort of professional curiosity is it, sir?
Well, you seem to be a frequent visitor to a house of Azimishi and always seem to come back. One can't help but be curious what exactly you're finding there.
Unpleasant memories, sir.
That is to be expected. What's your willpower?
3!
Your willpower is 3. Let me
Sure
just have
is.
a roll. I see. Okay. Okay. You just keep walking. And you get, eventually.
I'm thinking about the frustration I had with Janina, because that's all come bubbling back up. And the anger at not being able to, at myself for not being able to stop her, for forgetting to stop her, for losing track of what was happening. This frustration that I'm not holding it together as well as I want to be able to. This annoyance at the sheriff for the recklessness, and this fear, just the absolute terror that house fills me with. I think the lady's face is very firmly now back in my mind, and yeah.
Roll your wit and alertness.
That's
with
alertness.
Difficulty 8.
How about a botch?
Oh no.
Alright then. Well, so you think those thoughts, and Mr. Swinovsky doesn't inquire any further. And you get to the door of one of the rooms in the basement, one of the boiler rooms there. Meanwhile, Janina. And you come up to Nastya. You see Bea is leaving with Mr. Sarnowski. Nastya is smiling at you, looking at you from behind her book.
I sit next to her.
Hey,
How
I
are
was
you?
hoping to catch you.
I'm always happy to see you.
I'm alright. One good thing about all this happening is that I'm here more often now.
Yes.
As is Zygmunt.
Makes me happy.
Makes me happy when you don't wander off.
I'm trying not to. Well, now me and Bea, we worry about her sire.
What happened?
We went to our haven where she is currently staying, and she wasn't there, and Bea had sort of vision about her, and it doesn't look good. We honestly don't know what anything means, and we don't really know where to start to find her. So yeah, kind of stressed.
She kind of looks around the Elysium and lowers her voice a little bit. Do you have any idea what might have happened?
I I honestly don't have any ideas.
Maybe she just... Oh, that's probably naive of me to say. Maybe she just wandered off quite far and needed to spend a day somewhere else.
I wish it was the case, but I don't know. The visions Bea had, they felt quite ominous, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think Bea thinks she's safe, and if Bea doesn't think her sire's safe, then I guess worry is understandable.
Well, perception and empathy.
Wow. What is the difficulty? 6?
Difficulty is 6, yeah.
Okay, I have 2 10s and 6. So 3 successes. Yeah.
So when you start talking about Bea's vision, you see Nasya tense up a little. And there's this worry. And she's listening to you, but she doesn't quite respond. It's like she drifts off into her own thoughts and then shakes herself.
Place my hand on her hand and just hold her. Are you okay?
Yes, I think so. I hope so. I'm sorry.
Do you want to go?
I hope you... yes, maybe let's do that.
Yeah. Well, let's go to my room. And I grab her by the hand and lead her out of the Elysium.
And she follows you, carrying a book. And once you're out of the earshot, are you heading towards a room?
My room.
Or?
Yeah.
All right. Room. So you get there quite easily, and as you're going there, she just says, I hope Bea will find her sire.
I hope so too. She has been through a lot. I don't really want to see her in distress anymore.
No, neither do I.
She has some task right now with Mr. Cernovsky, and she also wants to ask him to help us with making more sense about the visions about Felicia.
Mr. Cernovsky?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Well, I don't know. But Joachim said he'll ask him, so...
Well, of course he would say that.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. That's on Bea.
I mean, I barely spoke to the man, but Zygmunt really doesn't like him.
I barely know him myself, but I know Bea has some mixed feelings about him, but she worked with him. And maybe
still does,
could help.
As you said.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything bad about asking him to help us when we really don't know who else could help us. Any help is wanted right now.
I mean, I hope there is.
Do you have any idea who we could ask for help?
With finding someone who you don't know.
Exactly. I know.
I would say ask a Malkavian, but I guess Bea has done what she could do.
Well, the only other Malkavian here is Raquel. So, I don't know.
That might not. Well, I'm sorry. I wish I could help. I don't know how to locate someone who just...
I know.
If you don't have... Do you have any ideas?
Not really.
Something she was interested in? Something...
Just a poetry book.
Mentioned? A poetry book.
Yes. And I tell her the name of the poem and the author.
Let's have a look. She kind of, for a moment, thinks, like, oh, all right, yeah, I think I've read some of that.
She apparently kept reading the same page over and over. And I don't know, it sounds so strange. I mean, Felicia is a strange woman, but
I mean, I guess it would have personal significance of sorts.
yes, I'm sure it does, but I don't know how it fits into Bea's visions. Like
I don't know
really-
Bea's visions. They are worrying.
I know. What about you? Did you had any more strange feelings?
I did. I don't want to trouble you with this. It's probably nothing. It's
No,
probably...
please tell me. I want to know everything about you.
I just last few nights I've been having. Well, I don't know. I don't remember if I've been having dreams. I feel like I have, but I don't remember anything. But I feel so anxious when I wake up. Like, it's hard to describe. It's like there's this nagging feeling that something's missing, but I can't recall what I've been dreaming of.
I'm sorry, and I hug her and console her.
She kind of leans against you and relaxes a little bit in your arms, and then hugs you, pulling you closely.
I wish I could have helped you. I'm so sorry.
I'm worried.
Is
I
there
don't know
anything
what's
I can
going
do?
on.
Did you tell Zygmunt about this?
I didn't. He's busy with the city. I don't want to. What am I going to tell him? That I had a bad dream that I don't remember?
Well, we already told him about Bea's vision that included him and you.
He knows, he remembers. That's why he
I know.
wants to keep me close.
That's why I think, yes, that's
I
why I
mean-
think you should tell him. I mean, just in casual, I'm sure he would. So he at least knew that, I don't know, maybe it's just stress, but you never know.
Or charisma and persuasion. Difficulty 7.
Well, it's a botch.
So she looks to you and just like, I can't bother him with such nonsense. He knows about the visions. He's already looking out for me more. There's so much happening right now.
Okay.
It's...
Don't worry about it. Then don't tell him. I will tell him anyway.
You see her kind of tense up a little bit.
I'm really sorry you're not well. You've really been through a lot lately.
Sorry, I can't help you with the Sire.
No, it's okay.
Don't know
I didn't
how.
expect you to help. I just wanted to complain.
That's fine.
It's just so frustrating when the visions are so ominous. Like, how do you figure out what to do? And I can't. And I didn't even had the vision. I just had to go off Bea's description. It's just frustrating.
I don't know. I don't have that. I just have... I don't know. I don't even know what I have. And she kind of leans against you and starts shaking a little bit.
I hug her and kiss her on the hair and just comfort her. Do you want to just lie down for a moment and just enjoy each other's company?
She nods her head.
And I will lie next to her on the bed and just hold her.
She kind of hugs you and pulls you closely, and it's like she's hugging you very tightly. and putting her face in your neck, slightly shaking, but calming down a little bit as she's close to you.
I will console her and caress her hair and just tell her probably some lame story, something just to take her mind off troubles.
She smiles a little bit, but you can see she relaxes a bit, but she's still tense and anxious. But you spend some time consoling her, and she doesn't completely calm down, but she does sort of calm down through this. Meanwhile, Bea, you are at the door of the boiler room. Mr. Cernovsky looks to you and just says, now would be the time to use lockpicks. I will leave you to it.
Thank you, sir. Is there anything I should be aware of while I'm in that room?
Not in particular. I would advise against giving him opportunity to escape on his own.
I also don't think that would be a very good idea either.
I will be keeping him here for the time being. Should you need to visit again, and I've been told you will probably need to visit again, feel free.
Thank you, sir. And I write that down in my journal.
And he starts walking up the stairs and stops at the top of the stairs, not quite walking away yet, but
that's fair.
Almost out of eye.
Okay. I then sort of go through my journal one last time, kind of refreshing what it is my goal is with this. That I'm meant to be gaining his trust, that I'm meant to become convincing that I'll let him loose. And I then put my journal in my bag and sort of stand there for a moment and just start I just focus on the idea of feeling sorry for Arik, pitying him, which isn't hard because I do feel bad about him being here as much as I'm angry with him. And I kind of let everything else sort of wash away from me and stop focusing on the other memories that I've been trying to cling to. And just focus on that feeling. And then I pull out the lockpicks and I start carefully picking at the door.
That's Dex and Larceny, difficulty 7.
It'd be really funny if I locked myself out. Well, I have 2 10s and a 9, so I don't think I'm locking myself out.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Without any issue, you know how to pick a lock, and you do it very smoothly, and then it clicks and it's open.
And then sort of glancing behind me, feeling... It's a strange feeling where I feel like I'm both meant to be here and also like I'm doing something I really shouldn't be doing. I sort of glance back behind me, glance
There's
up
no
and down.
one there.
Okay. And let myself in. And I guess I'll close the door behind me.
Close the door behind you. You are in a room. You can turn the light on if you wish.
I think
Otherwise,
I
it
don't.
will be pretty much completely dark there.
I have a lighter, I think. Just checking with like the fear of fire and whatnot. Would I be able to use that for light, or would that be too uncomfortable for me?
You can use a lighter.
Okay. In which case, I use that because I don't know, something about turning the light on feels wrong.
That's all right. So as you enter, you hear this humming of boilers, and you feel the warmth in this room. And a faint light of the lighter. You don't see much, but you see shapes of boilers and pipes lining the walls of this room, and you see the table in the middle, and lying on it, Arek.
I think instinctively, as I flick on the lighter, I've also enhanced my sense of sight, just so I can pick up on slightly more around me. I don't think I even do it with any real awareness; it just happens.
Yeah.
And then I kind of wish I could just turn the lighter off and not look, because I presume he looks just as awful as I remember him looking.
As you come up, you see that he has a stake through his heart, and his limbs are withered as they were before. His torso is now covered in fur, and you see there is a strange curve, slightly inhuman one to his spine, not very visible, but it is there. You also see that his mouth is open, and his eyes are open, and you see that his teeth are larger and sharper, and the fangs are out and are more pronounced.
I think I just stand there for a moment to holding the lighter close-ish to me, but not enough that it would make me uncomfortable. And I wasn't quite prepared for how he was going to look when I saw him. And I'd like to roll self-control so that I can touch him.
Difficulty 7.
Wow, I have 2 10s and a 9 again.
No problem.
I think it's, again, this movement is kind of instinctual. I kind of move before I've even thought about it, and I'm standing next to him at the top of the table. And I think I just sort of run my hand through his hair in this sort of maternal, concerned gesture. And I'm not, my face is just kind of stricken as I look at him. I'm sorry. And I watch him just lying there motionless, unable to respond to me, unable to do anything. And I'd like to try and see what's going on in his head.
Then roll your intelligence and subterfuge. And you will need to spend a point of willpower to read a kindred mind.
Yep.
But the difficulty is basically don't botch.
Oh.
Don't roll only once.
Oh boy. So it's intelligence and subterfuge. Subterfuge?
Intelligence and subterfuge, yeah.
Yes, cool. Sorry, I said the word and I was like, I have no idea. Cool. Okay, everything is not ones.
That is all the successes.
All the successes. And I just connect to him.
And you look into his mind. Meanwhile, Janina. You're lying there with Nastya in bed. You see that she's calmed down a little bit. she's been all the time just like clinging to you very tightly. Now she relaxes a little bit, straightens herself, moves some of her hair back. I'm sorry, you wanted to complain and I made it all about myself.
No, that's not true. I'm always happy to be here for you and comfort you. I want you to feel better. And I already complained enough. I don't have anything more to complain. I would just say the same thing over and over.
I wish I could help.
I know. I just wish we had something more tangible to go on, like a place or an idea. I really have zero ideas, unless, like, I don't know if Bea said she was in danger and that it was something to do with Sabat, but we know nothing. I just don't know.
Sabat?
I mean, if she was in danger.
I mean, I guess.
But like this, we just have no ideas, nowhere to look for her. We just know nothing, and I know it tears Bea apart, not knowing what's happening with her sire. They are very close to each other.
Yeah, I think I saw a bit of that. Or heard, but well, I'm not sure who could be of help. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Mr. Sarnowski has some methods.
We'll see. We'll see once Bea.
I just know Zygmunt doesn't like any of his clan, to be honest.
Really, I think Joachim is quite nice.
He is nice, but it doesn't mean... Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have any experience. Zygmunt says, well, you can ask him yourself, I suppose.
No, tell me the tea.
I mean, it's just a lot of bad stuff, really. He says they only really care about their power and their own clan interests, that they twist and corrupt everything they touch. He told me some of the young ones might seem friendly, and they might be friendly, but their elders won't be, and they will use you before you even realize you're being used.
Well, isn't that what most of the elders are? Except Zygmunt, I guess.
Well, I don't know. Zygmunt was very adamant about it.
Okay, I will ask him more about that once.
I could touch him. Like, it wasn't just, how he talks all sorts of stuff. He did really think that he did really care to get that across.
Okay, I will ask him when I get a chance. Because I don't know. I know almost nothing about them. I just know that Elisa and Joachim are nice people from what I can tell, and I don't know Magdalena. But she seems
sad and frightened.
Yeah, she does.
I spoke to her a bit.
Michael, jesteś w porządku? I'm sorry, Michael's he's coughing and just jesteś w porządku? He doesn't know.
Cat's emergency.
Yeah.
I spoke to him. I spoke to her a bit. I got the impression she maybe wanted to connect with someone, but she felt that she couldn't.
She seemed lonely. I mean, I wanted to ask her to help me, but I didn't yet manage to.
Maybe you should speak to Zygmunt about that. No, I'm not sure he'll like that.
Yeah. Me, Dolores, who did recommended me, Magdalena?
No, Nastya did.
Yeah, okay.
Nastya
So it
did.
was her.
It was her, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't. I was like unsure because I remember that one of the kindred.
No, it was Nastya. But now she's saying that, like, now I'm not really sure he would like that. Maybe it was a bad idea.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, I thought it was a good idea, but he doesn't seem to like their clan at all.
Yeah, well, but anyway, maybe I could just connect with her on a personal level.
Maybe.
Don't worry, not on that kind of personal level. And I smiled, Nastya.
She kind of like, oh. She wouldn't dare.
I kiss her.
And she kisses you very passionately at that.
Then I will stroke her hair. And... Well, do you have any plans for the rest of the evening?
Probably catch Zygmunt at some point. See what our plans are.
Yay!
Hugely. Do you?
Well, I'm waiting for Bea and any information. If there's going to be any more information about Felicia's whereabouts, I don't want to leave her alone. Unless, I mean, right now she's working, but after that, I just don't want to leave her alone. And I know she's stressed about her mother.
Of course, you should spend some time with her.
Other than that, I don't have any. I just gonna be chilling in Elysium, waiting for Bea. You know, good girl stuff.
Shall we head there then?
Yeah, let's go back. And I give her another passionate kiss before we leave the room.
She gives you a kiss back, and then she just hugs you and leans on you for a moment longer as if she was gathering strength.
I will
and then
hug her.
she straightens. And you leave, heading towards the Elysium. And I think this is a good moment to do a break.
Yay!
We will be back in about 15 minutes to continue. Please stay with us. We really appreciate you being here to witness our game and see what our kindred get up to. And we will see you after the break. And welcome back. Sorry for a little bit of a delay, but we are now ready to jump back into our chronicle. And we will start with Bea. Bea, you look into Arek's mind, and you are immediately hit with this confusion that you see in his head. There's anger there. There's hate. As you are touching his head, you feel this impulse to move away, to shake off your touch, and then guilt and some regret for that thought. And there is a little bit of recognition there, and it's mixed with pain and anger and sadness. You hear these thoughts going, that bitch again, and then this guilt for it, this immediate regret and feeling sorry. You see memories flash through his head of your face, the two of you crouched somewhere hiding as the ground is shaking. You have this hint of protectiveness from him in that memory as he shelters you. And then this hate again, this desire to move, to shake you off, to stand up, as tries to fight and strained against his body that's limp, but obviously he's motionless, he can't move. And you see there's this desperate hope somewhere there, and then again anger, and sense of betrayal and shame. And you also get a flash somewhere in this whirlwind of emotions of Mr. Cernovsky's face, and you get this feeling attached to it of hatred and longing, this desperation to see him, and this burning hate and equally burning love as he remembers that face, and then it disappears.
I think I just stand there for a while. I'm not sort of engaging with any of the memories. I'm just standing there and just slowly stroking his hair, and just looking down into his face. And I'm just murmuring, "I'm sorry."
As you do, you see in his head another memory of a connection with you as he was in pain, in desperation, and this consolation, and his thoughts briefly calm and focus on you, and there is some warmth there. And then you remember, well, you don't remember, but you see him remember, you crucified, covered in blood, and the anger in that memory as he stabs you several times with his claws. And then you see anger directed at himself, and guilt, shame, and strong desire to hurt you, and confusion. And then this shame and fear.
And I think I just stay there with him for some time, just taking in what's been done to him. I think I take a moment to examine one of his arms, and there's some recognition in seeing the witheredness, and I feel this feeling of guilt in my chest. And I bite my lip as I see this, and then look back to his face again, and continue stroking his hair. And I think I spend some time, but I'll occasionally just be glancing around and then focusing and seeing whether I hear any sounds or anything behind me.
You don't. No one disturbs you. And as you're spending time with him, you get a lot of similar stuff, but he does seem to get used to your touch. And there is certain fondness there, and certain warmth. And you get memories of people he hurt, and your old coterie, and his desperation, and surprise, and anger, and regret, and shame. And you do, as he relaxes a little bit, as the thoughts come down, get this sense of absolute hopelessness.
I think I murmur to myself and to him, I wish it hadn't come to this. I wish you'd made different choices.
You get a flash of that memory of Martin's face and Eric's anger and disdain for him, and just this feeling of being put down and stifled and constrained, and resentment of that. And then others of your coterie falling into ash and regret and sadness.
And I think, as I'm seeing Martin's face and the face of Kuba and Kasia, I think I think some tears end up forming in my eyes. And eventually, I'll pull away from him, just leaving with sort of one more caress to the top of his scalp.
And as you're pulling away, you see this, feel still in his head, this almost instinct to keep you there, to stop you from going.
And I think I initially step back and then I hesitate looking at him, and then I glance around the room again, and I'm nervous. And I'll just whisper to him, I'll try to come back. I'm sorry. And I pull away again. And I leave. And try to lock the door behind me. If I can.
You had a good roll. Let's say you can do that. And how are you feeling?
Awful. There is this guilt and this anger, and seeing his memories of us together, it just brings this sort of feeling of longing for something that I don't really remember experiencing. For a time when things were not better but simpler. It was pure survival. And now it's messy. And I find myself missing him. Missing the boy that he used to be. And seeing the emotions that he was going through, I wonder what he went through during his time with the Sabbat. And I feel like I end up grieving for the boy he used to be. And then also seeing my coteries' faces again, that brings up that old feeling of grief that hasn't gone anywhere and that I haven't processed properly. And I think I end up making my way to a particular stairwell that I don't have any memories of, but I have been here before. I'm just curling up underneath it. And I'm not sobbing, but I think there's a couple of tears. And I just sit there sort of feeling this numb feeling of grief and hopelessness and wondering and just anger at myself for breaking in there in the first place. To start wondering why I was doing that. Why did I think that was a good idea? And I think I spend quite some time there.
All right. Meanwhile, Janina, you get back to the Elysium with Nastya, who has come down a little bit. There's still tension in her body, but she is much calmer than she was at some point during your conversation. And as you enter, you see that Mikhail still isn't there. Mr. Saranovsky isn't there right now. The rest of the people who are there are still there. Roman is talking to a tall, lanky-looking woman, and they're sitting, observing everyone, just looking kind of relaxed, but he looks a little bit tense.
Okay, I guess I will go sit with Nastya and just observe, waiting for Bea for this moment. I really want to approach Roman especially after last time, and he seems busy, so I don't think there's anyone else I would like to talk.
So you sit with Nastya. She leans against you a little bit. She opens her book. It is written in Cyrillic. And she will actually tell you that she was trying to read up various theories of like how dreams are formed, and she's reading about that and trying to learn about it. And you spend some time there, and then you think Bea should be getting back now, but she's not back.
Okay, well, I'm not like concerned because I know she was doing some task, and I'm pretty sure it was in the hotel, so I don't really worry about her. I just think she got caught up with work.
So you keep waiting. And Bea's not coming back. But at some point, you see the sheriff enter with Antoni.
Okay.
And they come up to Roman and his companion, who you probably would have recognized that you think is the Nosferatu Primogen.
Yeah. That's what Janina would
have
figured. Sorry, Michael. Michael's looking at me like he wants to pounce, so I'm just taking him away because he scares me.
Yes, there is potential for a bloody attack.
Slasher shenanigans.
Yes. Exactly. So they are talking for a little bit.
Okay. Can I try to eavesdrop?
You can roll your oh my god, perception and alertness. My mind just blanked for a moment. Are you trying to be like? Do you just try to stay where you are? Or are you actually trying to get closer?
Yes.
Then difficulty will be 8.
Okay, then I have no successes now.
You can't quite make out the words.
Okay. Damn it.
They're not talking for very long.
Okay.
You get that from observing them, the impression they might have just exchanged some pleasantries. Roman talks a little bit more. The sheriff nods, says something back. Antoni says something. And then sheriff starts heading with Antoni towards the exit.
Okay.
At which point, you see Stefania, the toreador, stand up and come up to him. Not quite to him, but she starts heading towards him. And then just says, Lucian, we didn't get a chance to speak yet. And he stops and looks to her. And there is a moment of hesitation, but then he comes up to her and says, Stefania, my dear, we have spoken many times. If I've neglected you while being busy, I apologize. And she gives him a smile and says, I just wanted to tell you, I'm very glad you got Dominic back, and I hope you will be happy together. And he thanks her and nods his head. And then she continues, but you are our protector, and me and others. And she glances towards Anna Maria and Nina. If you want to get more of a read on anyone at any point, let me know.
I'm waiting for reaction.
Okay. So she continues. After looking to them, we were all so worried when you were gone and missing for that whole night. It won't happen again, right? You will be ready to protect us if there's need. And Lucian says, of course. I appreciate your concern, but I am now back to my duties and ready to protect you if there would be need. Stefania smiles and looks down a little bit and then looks back up at him. And forgive me, Lucian, for even saying this, but I was so worried that I need to know. I hope it won't be necessary, and I feel very bad for asking, but if something was to happen to Dominic again, you won't abandon us again, will you? You will protect us. And you see, the sheriff doesn't immediately answer. And you see a few people like look towards them now. And Lucian eventually gives her a smile and says, nothing will happen, and I will be ready to protect you. And then he turns around and starts leaving.
Okay, now I want to read him and Stefania.
Well, roll your perception and empathy. And I'm gonna roll for both.
Difficulty?
Difficulty is 6.
Okay, then I have 2 successes.
You have 2 successes, okay? And you would have, right. So you don't see that much from Stefania. She just seems to you to be genuinely worried and very demure and very shy about what she's doing. Very concerned, very almost embarrassed about asking. And you see quite well for Lucian, you see that he's uncomfortable, he's shaken by this. There is this almost recognition and worry in him at some point when she mentions Dominic. And he tenses up immediately. And when she asks if he would, or if he won't do something like he did again, you feel this tension and worry and concern and discomfort. And you see that he's evading. He doesn't really answer. He says that it just won't happen, but it doesn't really know how to answer, because the answer is that, of course, he would do this again. And you see that he wasn't very good hiding it as well.
All right, I look at Nastya and exchange glances with her.
Nastya looks to you. She slightly shakes her head, and she's looking worried and concerned. Okay. And you see her look towards other people quite carefully who are here.
I quickly glance around the Elysium.
Sure. Everyone is still looking like after the sheriff as he's leaving. And Antoni follows after him. What are you thinking about that scene?
Well, it felt quite unlike Stefania to do something like that. I don't know, it felt forced to me, like scripted action. So, I don't know.
Because you didn't see through her, it actually looked very natural to you.
Okay.
You might have had your suspicions, but it looked like she was very genuine in
Okay.
everything.
But it felt like it wasn't
Yeah.
like her. It didn't feel like her character from what
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing
Yeah.
in her. I don't know. It felt strange. So, but other than that, I don't think Janina thinks anything else of it. Maybe she would have thought more if she witnessed before that amazing scene that she didn't
Yeah,
witness.
but she didn't. But she didn't. So she's
Yeah.
just not thinking
Mhm.
much, except it being a bit strange that Stefania's doing that.
Yes, if it was like Mikhail, then it would be more like up to his character, but from Stefania it seems a bit strange.
All right. Meanwhile, Bea, you're sitting on the stairwell. It's been some time.
Eventually, I pull out my journal, and then I see my last few notes, and it kind of feels like the memories in my head sort of shift. It's almost like rocks falling as things fall back into place, and it's kind of jarring. And I feel sort of more unsettled having just done this, but also relieved that what I did wasn't against the rules, if that makes sense. But I also feel more guilty for Arik. It's messy. And I scribbled down what I saw in his head and the connection that was made. And then I closed my journal and sort of force myself to my feet and just start walking back towards Elysium, because I don't really know what to do now. I've entirely forgotten about saying to Janina that we were going to meet again, but because I didn't write it down. So I just head back to Elysium feeling this sort of hollow feeling and trying to convince myself I did what I was meant to do. I did my task, but it doesn't feel good. So.
And you're heading out. And you enter the Elysium. You see the present array of people there. Janina, you see Bea enter.
Okay, my face lights up when I see her, and I wait for her to notice me. There.
I think I sort of glance around the room, and my eyes fall on Roman, and there's that feeling of guilt again. And I still don't know exactly what happened, but I still want to apologize to him, but I don't know how to. And I'm just kind of watching him, wanting to speak to him, but don't know what to do. And then I'll catch myself sort of staring and glance back around the room. I think at that point I see Janina, at which point I give her... Oh, sorry.
As you're staring at Roman, you see this woman wearing pretty nondescript clothing. There's something maybe familiar about her, but you're not sure. He's pretty tired. She puts a hand on his shoulder, says something, and then stands up and leaves towards the different offices.
Okay. At which point I will not look around the rest of the room and I will approach him.
All right, so you're approaching Roman. He looks to you as you're approaching. Bea.
Hi. Could I talk to you in private?
He glances around. Sure, yeah. See a bit of hesitation on his face. He looks around the room. Yeah, sure, let's talk. You see Bea come up to Roman and see that
Okay.
exchange.
I'm just bracing myself, watching them carefully.
What, you worried he's going to punch me?
No, but I know Bea doesn't remember much.
Roman kind of stands up. Do you want to go somewhere? Do you want to talk here?
I'll just sort of gesture to a door. And
he kind of looks around, looks back, but then he follows.
And I think once again, I think I'm briefly sort of flicking through my journal, desperately looking for something, and I can't find it because I never wrote it down. And I'm just feeling tired and stressed. So I'm just hoping that he'll understand if I just.
He looks to you. Are you okay? I mean, you're clearly not okay, but.
I'm not doing a very good job of keeping my face together today. I'm sorry. I want to apologize to you, but I don't remember what for.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, of course you don't remember. It's okay. Fuck it. It's not your fault. I expect. It's all right. I don't.
I'm going to spend another point of willpower to just push through, even though I'm tired. Because it doesn't feel okay, even though he says it. It doesn't feel okay to me.
Then you remember what happened and how he was put in danger, and that he had a go at Janina, and still warned her about where the Sabbat can be found, but.
Okay. And I'd like to roll self-control so that I can touch him.
Difficulty 7.
Yeah, I've got 3 successes in there. At which point, I think I just sort of briefly pause as sort of the memories come back to me, and he probably will recognize the sensation of the flicker of recognition on my face as things start clicking back into place. And then I lean forward and just put a hand on his arm and just go, "It's not okay. I'm so sorry. It's coming back to me now. And it wasn't okay."
Well, since it's coming back, I still don't blame you. I don't expect you would have come up with any of that. Although, could have warned somebody, you know.
I know. And I wish I had. And
kid, come on. And he kind of pats you on an arm a little bit.
Okay, at which point I will just kind of, I'm not breaking down, but there's definitely, there's emotion bubbling up in my throat, and I think I just, wrap him in my arms and just quietly whisper to him, I'm so glad you're still here, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm still here. I'm glad you're here after what you've been doing.
And I think I tense up and freeze at that point.
Just goes, listen, I don't know how the fuck you keep doing all those things and surviving. It doesn't make sense, but maybe I'm glad you're surviving. I know I had to go with Janina, but she's infuriating.
Yeah.
Well, since it's coming back, I wish you both well. tried my best on many occasions to warn you of danger, but I just can't keep doing that. I have, well, I struggle to keep myself alive sometimes, and I can't let myself be pulled into, well, whatever next thing you will cook up. I'm glad you're okay.
Thank you for putting up with us as long as you did. I'm sorry.
I want to help out, but you need to show some sense. And by you, I mostly mean Janina. But seriously, Bea, what the fuck? Like, you need to, if you know someone's doing this kind of stuff, someone important in the Camarilla, you need to report it.
I think at that point I start crying. Because I'm fully aware he's absolutely right. And I'm looking at the floor. I don't want him to, I don't want to make him uncomfortable, but...
He kind of looks at you and he looks a bit uncomfortable and then just pulls you in for a hug. Come on, kid, don't do that. There's humans here. We can't be doing that.
So I just kind of rest my forehead against him, trying to not get blood on his clothes. And I'm sort of pushing a hand up to wipe at my face.
Kind of gets, you're gonna get it all over my fancy jacket. And he's just wearing like the most basic sort of jacket. There's some patches, some tears on it. So
I am trying to keep tears away from him.
No, you get the impression he's just
joking. Yeah.
And
I think I do sort of let out
you with it.
Yeah. I let out this almost not quite manic laughter, but this a little bit unhinged, just in that sort of I've just got a lot of emotions right now. And I think I just end up apologizing to him again and saying, I'm so sorry. I should have. I got confused and lost. And I've just been trying to keep Janina from all of the messes she keeps signing up for, and trying to hold my own things together and trying to do well here. And I guess it was the straw that broke the camel's back, and it just all fell apart. And I made some bad calls, and it led to awful things. And oh God, I'm so sorry for your clanmate.
He sort of shakes his head. Listen, I don't blame you for that. Not really. Just it's okay.
It isn't.
No, it isn't, but it's difficult to say. I do care, but sort of shakes his head.
I then bite my lip as I think about the task that I've been given and the amount of danger I'm probably going to be in the process of doing it. And I just kind of feel something inside of me sort of crack a bit.
He just kind of shakes his head and says, it's just dangerous existence right now. We don't need to be cracking from the inside.
Yeah. I know.
Listen, I appreciate you talking to me. I mean, I've been really, really pissed. And then I spoke to Janina and I wanted to punch her face in. But
I'll
get over it.
I lost my temper with her.
I don't blame you.
I want to keep her safe, and I don't know how to. But I need her. And I don't know.
Listen, I don't like to be saying this. And don't take it the wrong way, but Janina seems to have a death wish. And I hope someone will be able to get through her thick head and fix it. But there are other people if you lose her. You won't be on your own.
But not you.
Oh, I'll be here.
I thought you were done with our nonsense.
I wish I was. I will always care. It's a curse. It's a bloody curse. But I do.
Thank you. And I'm sorry. I just find myself not knowing where to turn to time and time again. But and then I just get that feeling of anger at myself, knowing that the task that I have is going to be dangerous. But you're probably right to pull away. I don't know whether I should tell you this or not, and I don't know if you want to hear it.
What the hell are you up to?
It's sanctioned, if that makes you feel any better.
Believe it or not, but it somewhat does.
Yeah. I'm not telling you, Nina. Because I know what she's like.
Don't fucking tell you, Nina. I don't even know what it is, but if there's someone to fuck everything up, and I say it with all the care I can muster, that's that girl.
That was my thought too. I've been given a dangerous task relating to us making it out of there alive.
Well, fuck. Listen, I know how it is. It's not like I live a safe life. I get into danger situations. Well, I've been tracking Sabat for the last weeks. Not exactly stroll in the park. So I'm not mad about that. Just be careful. You usually had good sense, so use your reason.
I'll try. Well, it's sometimes a bit easier without you, Nina. But I'm scared, Roman.
I know.
But I want.
So am I.
But I want to help. And I want for us to feel safe again. Or I want to feel safe. I don't remember feeling safe, but I want to feel safe. And I want for others to feel safe too. And I want for you to not have to be constantly putting yourself in danger.
Well, I'd drink to that, but that's gonna turn things very morbid very quickly.
I suppose it would. Thank you, Roman, for being you.
Take care of yourself, and as long as it's not some clandestine bullshit, I'm willing to help.
I don't want to get involved in any more of that nonsense, but could you remind me occasionally? I just feel like everything's slipping at the moment, and
Remind you to stick with Camarilla. Don't do whatever it is you tend to do.
A sanity check, I suppose.
I can do that.
Thank you. I don't want to lose myself.
Hey, you won't. I know you. And I'll remind you.
I think I'd go in for another hug again, and just when I'm leaning next to him, just go, "You're the best."
And he hugs you back. Meanwhile, Janina, you're sitting at the Elysium. You saw Bea enter, went straight to Roman and left with him.
Okay.
How do you react to that?
Well, I hope it goes better than my interaction with him. But other than that, I don't think about it too much. I will ask Bea once we are reunited about it. But other than that, it doesn't make me feel any particular way. I just feel sorry for Roman that he has to put up with us.
And you're sitting at the Elysium. You see at some point Mr. Cernovsky enters. And he speaks to his childer briefly. And then he heads towards where the offices are.
Okay, I think when I see him walk up back, there's I probably look at him a bit longer because I think about what Nastya said, what that Zygmunt said. And I'm just trying to look at this man and trying to assess him, I guess.
Do you want to roll perception and empathy on him?
Let's do it. Why not?
Sure, why not?
Good luck!
Let's do that. Let's do that roll.
Vibe check the Tremere.
What is the difficulty?
6.
Okay, then I have 5 dice and 5 successes.
Ooh, that is actually better than he rolled.
Yes.
So you do see him. There is, he's deeply concentrated. It's like he's speaking to Joachim and Magdalena, and he's all the time thinking about something else. And as he moves through the room, it's not very noticeable, but you see him take in everybody there. And something almost clicking in his mind, like he's registering just what everyone is doing, how they appear to him. He glances a little bit around. He's fairly relaxed, but there is certain impatience to him. There is certain anticipation. It's almost like he's trying to work something out as he's looking at everybody. And you do see with that roll him glance for a little bit longer at Stefania. Almost searching for something. And their eyes meet and she slightly nods her head.
Okay.
Then he heads out. Looking again with anticipation, but somewhat reassured.
All right.
You also actually see Sorry, I almost forgot that. With that roll, you also see that he also looks a longer moment at Eliza. And she looks back at him and holds his eyes. And there is anger there and some frustration.
In him? Or
in him, yes, in him, as he's looking at her. And then he heads out.
Interesting.
What does Janina think about this? Given what she heard?
Well, I think it's like interesting to her because she usually doesn't pay attention to people she doesn't really interact with. So but after what Nastya said, that Zygmunt said, and I think she will keep more an eye on him and try to figure out, like, for now it's just she doesn't have anything else than to see that he's very in control. But I think Janina feels like this about most of the kindred in the Elysium, so it's not too strange to her. And she understands why he looked longer at Stefania after what happened with the sheriff. But she's curious about the anger look in his look towards Eliza. I think that's probably what she thinks most about, because it's something that struck her as most interesting from everything that she gathered from him at this moment.
You see that Nastya is still flicking through the book. And it's not long time that passes. And you see through not from the offices, but from the other side, from the just hotel, Zygmunt enters.
Okay.
And he is walking with the Venture Primogen. And they are conversing in a quite relaxed manner. Something about some poet, some new art. It's mostly Zygmunt talking and Mr. Lubomirski listening.
Okay.
And then Zygmunt looks to you and Nastya and gives you a bit of a smile.
I give him a nod.
And then he turns to Mr. Lubomirski and says, I'm sure Mrs. Ostrovska is waiting. Excuse me, I have my own plan to tend to for a moment. And Mr. Lubomirski says, of course, dear Zygmunt, we will speak shortly. And Mr. Lubomirski continues out of the Elysium towards the offices. And Zygmunt turns towards you and Nastya. Nastya, Janina, how are you?
All right.
I'm very glad to hear that, Nastya. Just kind of nods. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm afraid I will have to kidnap Nastya from you, Janina. There's certain things I want her to show her, to discuss with her.
I understand. I'm waiting for Bea.
I trust everything is well with you. How is your research progressing?
Wait a minute.
You did manage to, improve the solution, but you haven't properly tested it yet because you need more blood.
Yeah. So that's what I will relay to Zygmunt. That I'm working on it and that I made some improvements, but that I need more blood. And that I will speak with Mr. Potocki about that?
I'm sure he will be able to provide. He informed me he has some ideas. You just need to discuss them with him to let him
he
know
wasn't
what he
there
should put in
last
place.
time. Yeah.
I understand. Well, I'm glad you were able to make some improvements. I'm sure I can expect a lot from you.
Sure. I give him a smile and I look at the door waiting for Bea.
I'm gonna roll him something. He gives you a slight smile. Is my company so troubling you wish to run away?
No, I'm just worried. Bea's sire is missing. And
That is concerning news. How long has she been missing?
I'm not sure, but it may be a few days. We aren't really sure because she wasn't at the Haven yesterday. And Bea had sort of vision about her, but we aren't sure if she's in danger or not. It's just a bit confusing and she's very worried.
He just says at this point.
Okay.
Come with me for a moment.
All right. And
he
I
starts heading towards the
glance
office.
at Nastya and I will follow him.
Like Nastya is following as well.
Okay.
And as you go towards the offices, turn into a corridor there, he's leading you to his office that he has here. He looks to Nastya. Given Janina's general openness, I would expect you know all of this and more already. And Nastya just sort of smiles and looks a bit like I'm not sure how to answer for a moment, and then just looks to you and then says, yes, we have discussed this. Very well then. Please find the dear wolf, the Nosferatu Primogen, and tell her I'm on my way. And she just says, of course, all right. And heads off. And Zygmunt invites you into his office.
I will just say goodbye to Nastya and follow him.
He gestures for you to sit. He says, I appreciate your trust in sharing this information with me. Did you want to share it with everyone who was present at the Elysium?
Well, I mean, we are looking for help, so I don't think it's really a secret. We're worried about her, so I don't really think it's a bad idea if anyone hear about it.
The trustfulness of youth. Cherish it. Because it will eventually disappear. I'm very sorry to hear that. I hope Beatrice is all right.
Well, she's very stressed about it, and we honestly don't really know what to do because we have no idea where to look for her. And even have no idea what happened, if she's in danger or if she's just, I don't know, Bea had a vision, but it was ominous, like
What
as
was
usual.
it?
And I describe what I remember because I personally don't remember.
So it is not dissimilar to what she
No,
saw regarding me and Nastya.
No, I think it's personal. I think it's something personal, considering the poetry book. And
so you think it's something different?
I really don't know. But I think, given Felicia's mental state, she was very unwell. I don't know what to think. I hope she's all right. But
As do
I have no idea where she could go and if she's all right. But I hope she is, because I can't let Bea lose her mother.
I will keep this in mind.
Thank you.
Perhaps some help can be arranged in finding her.
Thank you. I appreciate
I can't promise.
It's all right. We just don't really even know where to start, so any help is appreciated, even if it won't help at the end.
I will see what I can do. And I will definitely keep this in mind. Thank you for sharing that. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about now that we're here? I still have, I suppose a couple of minutes.
Okay. I was speaking with Nastya about, because we also asked Joachim for help regarding Felicia. Because,
the young Tremere.
Yes, because he's on friendly terms with mainly Bea.
He seems to be on friendly terms with anyone who comes along.
Yeah, and Nastya said that you are hesitant, or you don't like the Tremere.
I see Nastya has been listening to my angry mumbling and my warnings. And he gives you, as he said, and my warnings, he gives you this stern look. No, I don't.
It's such that.
I don't like them at all. They are the opposite of everything we stand for. They are part of the Camarilla, and as such, obviously can be counted to perform certain tasks. Perhaps I would expect they possess means of locating somebody. You've shared all that with them already.
Yes. Joachim said he'll ask his sire.
Of course he will. How could he not? Well, in that case, I can perhaps give a nudge to make it happen.
That would be very kind.
But what you must know about the Tremere is that their whole history, ever since they came among us, is the one of deception, treachery, and ruthlessness. You know why we do, me and you, Janina, what we do. We have certain ideals we try to materialize. We have values that guide us. Some people you have your doubts about, like the prince, like some of the other elders. They, can be pretty ruthless too. But even they have certain standards, certain values and ideas they hold. The Tremere have no such thing. They never have any, and they actively work to suppress it in their neonates. This is a bit of an unusual situation, that the young ones are allowed to wander among other kindred. Normally, they'd be locked somewhere with their clan and you wouldn't see them for decades until they're deemed ready to emerge. And by ready, I mean their morals sufficiently crumbled.
What is their goal?
Oh, well, they are loyal to the Camarilla. As far as I know, I have to give them that, I suppose. They have a goal in keeping it strong and safe. But they have their own goals. And if there is ever a choice between their clan and anything else, assume they will choose their clan. Always.
Okay.
Young Joachim certainly seems charming. And perhaps he still has qualms and some hesitation. But older Tremere won't. And they won't hesitate to use the young ones, if it suits them.
Okay. So I guess you wouldn't like me to invite Magdalena to help me with my project.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I don't know Magdalena. She certainly is very young. But once you let her in, you're letting this whole clan in.
Okay.
And they will poison what we're trying to accomplish. And they will turn it into another way to exploit people that we want to coexist with.
All right. I just wanted to make sure.
And he kind of relaxes and smiles. This must come across as very over the top to you, the ravings of a paranoid elder.
I trust you. You're one of the few elders that I do trust.
I'm glad of that. I only say it so forcefully, so that it sticks.
Okay, I will try to.
I'm not saying don't speak to them. We have to speak to them and interact with them, and they are a Camarilla clan and can be relied on to perform tasks. But they perform tasks ruthlessly and not hesitating to lose those they consider expendable, and most are considered expendable.
All right.
That's both within and outside their clan.
Okay. Thank you for your wisdom.
Smiles and shakes his head. I'm just observations. I had a lot of time to make over the centuries. So that young ones like you don't have to make the same mistakes.
Do you perhaps know why might be Mr. Cernovsky mad at Eliza? Is it because she was alone with us, without her clan?
So you can be very perceptive about what goes on if you put your mind to it. I knew this all along. That is part of it.
Okay.
And kind of looks to you. Can I trust you?
Yes.
Not to as you can see, she's not with Mr. Cernovsky at the moment.
Yes.
draw your conclusions from that.
Okay, so she doesn't want to be part of their clan values. And he's mad at her because of that.
That's a way of putting it. It's not all. But I think I have to leave you something to wonder about. If you figure out more, come to me, tell me what you figured out.
I will come with my conclusions next time, and you'll tell me how close they are. It's going to be our game.
If game is what it takes. And he says it, but it's a very joking and benevolent, kind smile on his face. And then he looks at the clock on the wall. Well, is there anything urgent you'd like to know about?
No, that's all. I'm not going to keep you any longer. I'm going to try to find Bea. Thank you for listening and for telling me all the Tremere tea.
Just keep it in mind. And I have a meeting with the Nosferatu Primogen.
Yes. All right. I'm going to try to find Bea. It was nice to see you. I will keep you informed about my project when I get to speak with Mr. Potocki. Probably not today, tomorrow probably.
I am sure things will progress very well. I have all the faith in you. And he stands up and starts heading outside, opening the door for you to leave.
I will leave with him and I go back to the Elysium.
Bea, you've been hugging Roman after your conversation, he says. Right, I should probably head back, and my sire said something about talking to other Primogen. That's gonna land me in another dangerous situation, I can assure you of that.
If I can do anything to help you,
I'll let you know.
And yeah. Any idea who I could talk to about trying to track someone down? Just, I think I've turned and I'm starting to move back towards.
Yeah. I mean, my clan can always do some searching and tracking.
Well, if you have time at any point, I think Felicia's gone missing.
Why? What happened?
I've had a sinking feeling for a while. I can't remember the details, but she wasn't at the Haven, and I pull out the poetry book and I'm reading through my notes and I read out what I saw and everything around it, and I don't know. I just don't know where to begin to look for her.
Roman is listening as you're reading, and you see his face just sinking and this dark look in his eyes, and it's just, fuck this. I'm not gonna pretend I know where to look, but I'll keep an eye out. I'll ask some rats, and maybe something saw her, and I'll talk to some in my clan to just do the same.
Thank you, Roman. I appreciate that.
How can I contact you?
We have a number, and I go through the book, and then I very slowly write out the phone number for him.
He takes it and stuffs it in his pocket.
We'll generally either be here or there, or we're not in contact, I suppose.
Well,
Yeah.
I
And
hope she turns up.
and if you need a place to go to, Janina and I have a haven at the moment.
Whereabouts is that?
I give him I pull out the map, show it to him because I can't remember, and just say, "You're always welcome there, even if we're not there."
Thank you. I hope there won't be a sudden need, but it's always good to have a safe place.
Yes.
Somewhere else.
I trust you to pick the lock and shut it behind you.
I can do that. Haven't found one that, well, I want to say I haven't found a lock that stops me, but sometimes it's brute force. Still, hasn't stopped me.
And I'm feeling a lot brighter now that I feel like I've cleared some of the air with him and I've made some progress.
As you're approaching the Elysium, he'll just say, "It was good talking to you. Thanks for coming up."
Thank you for everything.
You're a good friend.
You're a better friend.
I am. I'm amazing. You don't deserve
You are.
me.
You're absolutely correct.
But I just hope things will turn out okay.
Same.
With that, he's heading into the Elysium.
Yeah.
And you see that he heads towards the offices almost immediately. You see Janina and Nastya aren't there.
Okay.
But as Roman is leaving, Janina, you're going into the Elysium and you pass Roman in the corridor.
Hey, I just nodded him.
He looks at you. Hey, glad you're still around. For fuck's sake, please stay that way. I gotta go. And he just continues.
I just look at him for a moment as he goes away, and then I go into the Elysium.
And you see Bea just entered the Elysium, and you, Bea, see and Nina just come out of the door. Roman just disappeared behind.
And I come up to her.
At which point I wave to her. I've sort of waved to her when I see her. And
Any luck?
Sure.
Do you want to? And I just go with her outside of the Elysium.
I'm in and out of here like a yo-yo once more.
Absolutely.
And I don't go like far away, just like nearby. And I just, I have spoken with Zygmunt, and he told me he'll try to arrange something, maybe with Mr. Sarnowski, about Felicia.
Oh, good. I also spoke with Roman, and we cleared the air a bit. And
that's good.
Also,
I'm sure you're better with clearing air than me.
I mean, I think it's likely.
Yeah, but I'm glad.
But he's said that he can ask some rats if they've seen anything, and ask a few of his clan to keep an eye out for her. So I'm feeling a bit better, like we've actually made a bit of progress.
I think we did all we could to spread the word around and make something happen. I'm sure we'll find her.
I hope so.
What about your work task? Did it went okay?
It was fine, and I'm going to try and keep my face.
Ha!
Let's see how this goes.
Perception and empathy from Janina, and self-control and subterfuge from Bea. Difficulty 6. Does anyone want to spend willpower?
No.
Not on one willpower, I don't.
I have 2 successes.
Sorry, what was the difficulty again?
6.
A 7 or a 1? I can't tell. It is... Sorry, one moment, please.
Yes.
I can't tell. No, it's a 1. Okay. In which case, 3 successes.
Okay, you're better. Since you're on the luck.
Bea looks perfectly composed. She says it was fine.
Then I'm not inquiring more.
This is fine.
Okay, so do we have any... What do we do now?
I have no idea.
Me
What do we do now? I came here with tasks. Now the tasks are done. What do people do when the tasks are done? That never happens.
How
I suppose I
late
need
it
to
is right now? Alex, please. How late it is?
Oh, how late it is? Sorry, I didn't.
No,
know
it's
that.
okay.
It's like it's not quite super late yet. There is time to do something. Head out for you could head back to the Haven if you wanted. You could just hang out. You could go and speak to someone within the hotel if you wanted. It's slowly getting to, you have a couple of hours.
Okay.
It's not a massive space of time, but there's time to do something super long.
Yeah. I don't think I want to speak with anyone.
I was thinking I need to catch up on going through my journal and taking some notes and keeping them more up to date.
Okay.
I just feel a bit chaotic at the moment.
Right.
Would it be all right if we sat in Elysium and just
had
some quiet? I've got a book of poetry if that'll occupy you.
I
say with a humorless smile.
I read enough of that book already.
That's fair. Well,
it's okay. I'm gonna busy myself with people watch.
Fair enough.
It's my task now.
It's your task
People
now.
watch. Yeah, I'm trying to get better at looking at what's happening around me.
Oh, good. If you see anything interesting, do let me know.
Okay, I have some tea, but I will tell you later when we are alone somewhere.
You are alone.
I know.
Somewhere.
I mean like somewhere far away from Elysium, like in a room or in our haven.
Okay,
not
more
right.
alone. Okay. So you head back to the Elysium, and Bea, you position yourself just at the table with your journal, going through your notes. You would discover, of course, that your tasks aren't quite done. There's something else you need to do involving Sabbat.
Oh God, what else do I need to do with the Sabbat? Oh, is that the husband situation?
Well, no, you need to get close to the Sabbat as well.
Right, okay, well.
You need to establish contact and relationship and trust with them.
Well, in which case, I'm done for tonight.
It's not for tonight.
No.
And there is a husband situation.
There is the husband situation. And that's sort of a moment of, oh, shoot. I forgot. So I'm going through it and I'm slowly getting a bit more stressed as I'm going through it, going, I'm glad I'm taking the time to do this, because that was going to get lost in there if I hadn't.
I think Bea needs a to-do list by this point.
Bea's trying.
Yeah.
A bullet journal.
Bullet journal, yeah.
So you discover that you're not quite as done as you thought.
Yeah.
Briefly. Yeah. With what you were supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm done for now. So I guess I've got a task for tomorrow. So yeah, I'm taking notes, and I'm occasionally glancing up around the room and just seeing what changes. Or maybe even not necessarily registering what changes, but what feels new.
Feels new. All right, and you and Nina are people watching.
Yes, I'm people watching and occasionally glancing to Bea, but I'm not glancing at her notes, more just like at her and at her demeanor. But most of the time, I'm just like looking around.
Given I'm trying to hide the
let's do the same roll again.
Yeah.
Self-control, subterfuge versus perception and empathy.
To be fair, this time it isn't targeted at Janina. It is everyone.
I have 2 successes if it's
difficulty is 6, yeah.
Okay, then I have 2 successes.
Ruh-roh. Oh no. Well, that would have been 2 successes, but it's also 2 ones, so it's no successes.
Yay.
So, okay, so Janina, you are people watching. And you do see Mihail come back at some point from the officer's side.
Mr. Drama.
And he just comes up to Stefania and Anna Maria, kisses Anna Maria on the lips, and then turns to Stefania and inquires how she is feeling, how her night went, and she says, very well, thank you. And you do see at some point Mr. Cernovsky walks back in, and he just gestures, and Joachim and Magdalena and then stand up, and they follow him. And Conrad kind of hesitates, but then follows behind them, almost trailing behind them.
Adopted Tremere.
And you again see Mr. Cernovsky glance to Eliza and exchange this glance. And you see that like Rahela looks a bit concerned, almost like she's trying to not be seen. Not quite so obviously, but there is this thing in her. And Eliza is just looking back at him, refusing to look away.
Stare contest.
And she stays, but they head out. And then you see that Bea is looking for her journal, and you see that she's reading something there and getting more and more stressed.
I whispered to her, "You okay?"
I think I slightly jolt because I was a little bit lost in it, and close the book and just go. Just realizing how much there still is to do.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
No rest for the wicked.
Oh, no. You're a busy lady.
Mm.
But maybe it's good to keep occupied, especially now when you're stressed.
Well, it's better than just sitting and worrying, I suppose. But
if you need any help with anything, just tell me.
Thank you. Just losing track of things. But it's fine. It'll be okay. Anyway, sorry, I kind of realize where I am again, because I think during that I'd almost sort of forgotten that I was in Elysium.
And do you go back, though? Just looking for your journal?
I think yes, but I think I sort of pull my journal like closer into my lap, and it's sort of resting against the back of the table,
right.
Tilted up towards me, and I've pulled out another piece of paper, and I'm sort of putting my to-do list in a piece of paper that can then be moved.
Okay.
In hopes that it not being lost back in the pages will help. We'll see how long this lasts. But
you're doing your to-do list.
Yeah.
Janina, do you go back to people watching?
Yeah, I do.
General perception and empathy with difficulty 7.
Two successes.
2 successes. So you notice that Nina is glancing towards the door with some worry and anticipation. And then Mikhail tries to draw her into a conversation, and she is engaging, but her eyes keep darting there, and he clearly calls her out on it. And then she gets very, almost like uncomfortable and stressed, and he just smiles. And in a not unkind way as such, but she's looking kind of uncomfortable.
Okay. I think I know why she's uncomfortable. I think she's worried about Isidore.
Yes.
Yes. I wasn't sure. There's too many characters, and sometimes I need a moment.
It's Isidore.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So you see that. You see that Rahela is sitting with Eliza, and Rahela is holding her hand. saying something very softly and almost like standing up and wanting to pull her away. And Eliza is kind of pulling her back with this wanting to stay gesture and impression. You see Clemens go past, and he goes, he's together with Jagoda. They both enter and kind of glance around and pass through in a hurry, and they look kind of tense as well.
Oh no.
And some time passes as you're sitting there. What are you thinking about as you're people watching Janina?
I'm trying to, I guess, assess like everyone and the mood and try to be more perceptive about the general vibe of everyone and how other people react to each other. And then I also, when I noticed Nina, then I also remember that Isidore and Zoya are on their mission and that they are not back. And I worry about them. I also miss Daniel and hope that he's okay.
You have not seen him here today.
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, I just try to keep myself busy. Trying to just be more perceptive about others.
And eventually it is getting a bit late. It's not quite time to go to sleep here, but you see some of the people start leaving. Rahela and Eliza eventually leave. Stefania says goodbyes to Mihai with a smile, and she leaves.
Does she seem to be more or less healed now after her injuries?
Yes,
Bea
she's
wouldn't
healed
notice.
now.
Yeah.
She is healed now from her injuries. She's been like
Back to
unwell
normal
for a while, but
Yeah.
she's now back to normal.
Okay. Good. Back and causing problems.
Yes. Are you heading out, or are you still hanging on?
I'm looking at Bea, and if I notice like people start to leave, and I know that she's completely immersed in her journal, I will just like, well, I think it's time for us to go to our rooms, or room, if you want to stay with me.
Right. Okay. And I just kind of glance around the room again because I think I just got so zoned in on what I was doing. The world around me didn't quite exist anymore. So yes, I'll stand up.
You see Mihail look to you and give you a smile and a nod.
I will
As you
smile
look
back
around
and
the
give
room.
him a nod. But a deeper nod. Respect.
People pleaser.
Acknowledgement.
Yeah.
People pleaser.
You see
Yeah.
that he did not do that with you, Janina, even
Yeah,
now.
I'm not.
So
I
you
don't think I
watching around.
even look at him much.
Well, you do because you look around the
Yeah,
room.
but not in the
Yeah.
moment when like
Not
we are
in the moment.
standing-
No, but I mean at any point he just
Okay.
sort of ignored you completely and blanked you.
The feeling's mutual. I only want to watch him when he's causing drama.
That's a secret. He's always causing drama.
Is that Janina or Dolores?
No, it's me, Dolores.
Thought so. That's fair. And
yes,
do you head out, or are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So. I do. I think I do take like one last glance around the room.
Not many people left there. There's someone you don't recognize. There's not much of a crowd left.
Yeah. There's just this feeling like there's someone else I'm wanting to see, but I presume it's Felicia, so I just move on.
Where do you head? Do you head to your respective rooms? Do you head to one room?
I look at Bea if she wants to stay with me.
I think I should just follow after you and just don't really think about going to another room.
Okay, in that case, I will go to my room. My clan.
He's causing trouble too.
Yes. He has this evil eyes, and he wants to attack. No.
How appropriate. Well, then you go to Janina's room. And you're there on your own. Slowly starting to feel like it's time to sleep soon.
Okay, as Bea starts to prepare herself for sleep, I guess.
Yes. But
Then I will
it's
start
available to listen if conversation is wanting to be had.
Yeah. As she's taking care of herself, I will start to tell her about the Tremere and what Zygmunt told me. How he feels about them and that we should not trust them. Like
Wow.
not on like task levels, but generally.
I think I'm sort of partway through taking my makeup off, and I presume I'm just like sat at a chair with like a little handheld mirror. And I just kind of pause with a sort of, well, I wish I'd known this at the start of this evening. Well, nothing to be done about it now, I suppose. I suppose that confirms the unsettled feeling I get whenever I interact with him. I don't know, he frightens me. Like, I respect him, don't get me wrong, but...
Yeah, I think him and Eliza also don't see eye to eye, probably because she does not want to take part, or maybe she doesn't see him as her elder. I don't know. That's honestly that's a game I'm playing now with Zygmunt. I'm having my conclusions about this, and I come up to him, and he tells me how wrong I was.
Okay, that's at least a less dangerous game than I feared you were going to be playing at first, but okay, good. Well, I'm glad you're putting your mind to good use.
Look at me, learning from my mistakes, listening to elders.
You'll practically be a little Camarilla pawn by the time you're...
Just like you. You're my idol.
How does it feel, Bea?
I don't know. I think... Because I started saying it to tease her, and then she pointed out that that's what I am, and I'm not, like, offended by it. She hasn't phrased it as Camarilla bitch this time, so, like, I'm not offended by pawn, but I think I'm just examining that and just going, yeah, no, that's fair. It's kind of what I've been working, well, not necessarily pawn, but like working
Bea's dreams are for me.
I'm going to be the best pawn ever. But no, it's Felicia basically raised me to want to work or to do the best I can for the Camarilla and try to fit in and establish myself in there. And I suppose that pawn is a first step. So I guess there's almost like some acknowledgement that I've gone from being an outsider to being in the pecking order, even if it's at the bottom. I guess there's a little bit of discomfort in there. But mostly it's just like an observation.
Right. And you start feeling more and more tired. You finish removing your makeup and getting changed.
Lie down on 2 beds. The opposite
There
bed.
are 2 beds. There are 3 beds here, actually.
Oh, in which case, yes, lie down on one of the beds. And just be facing Janina, I suppose.
I will lie down on my bed and face you. I'm sure we'll find her. We're doing everything we can.
Thanks. Just remind me tomorrow to check my to-do list.
I will.
I'm trying to get a bit better at holding my tasks together. It's, of course.
I will try to remember. Now, if only Dolores will remember.
I feel like everything's falling out from under me, like I can't hold everything together. And my voice is getting like more tired and more tired as I'm talking.
I'm sorry, I feel like I've caused some of this, and you have been really through a lot, even without me adding to everything, with your husband and now with Felicia.
Oh, I guess you can make it up to me by reminding me.
I will. I will make it up to you.
I think with that I probably fall asleep.
And I fall asleep.
Fall asleep.
Just the same moment.
The same moment, mid-conversation, with Janina promising to keep reminding Belle the tasks.
Oh, I wish I will remember that. I could write it, but I'm sure I will forget that I wrote it. So,
well, you can give it a go. Thank you either way for playing.
Thank you for running.
You for running.
And thank you to everyone who's been watching. We really appreciate you being here with us to see the story of Bea and Janina and what happens to them and what they get up to. Usually a lot of dangerous stuff. We will be back in 2 weeks on the 20th of June at the same time, 6:30 p.m. British Summer Time here on the Lamias channel. And we hope to see you here again to join us to see what happens the following night for our kindred. Until then, all the best to you and good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.